Hey guys, we're going to talk about manifest destiny, and I believe the best picture that could uh, exemplify and show a great example of what manifest destiny was John Gast's American Progress painting done in 1872. It was commissioned by George Crofut, and it offers an absolutely um, detailed portrayal of what the idea was at the time in the United States about how to settle west and the white man's right to actually do so. Um, I'm going to quote from Martha Sandweiss from Amherst College. She did a great summary of exactly what the painting shows. I'm going to try to put a couple of things into common language, but we should be ready to go from there. So this is what Martha Sandweiss says about the painting that you guys are taking a look at. And you'll be looking from left to right, up and down, into all pieces of this painting as she's talking. So this is what she says. The simple Indian precedes the covered wagons and the Pony Express on the left, the overland stage, and then later on the three railroad lines. If you look at what she's saying, the Native Americans are following the buffalo herds on the left. Right behind them comes the covered wagons of the pioneers. Right above it is actually the Pony Express being symbolized right above the white covered wagon. At the floating lady, which we'll talk about in a second, the stagecoach in the middle at her feet is the stagecoach, which can be used once a trail has been established. And then right behind it are telegraph lines. You have cabins. You have train lines. And then if you look in the very back, the very top right, you see cities, and notice the bridge, which stands for civilization. So that's what she's referring to when she talks about this. But again, here it goes. The groups of human figures, read from left to right, convey much of the same idea that Indians precede Euro-American prospectors, who in turn come before the farmers and the settlers. The idea of progress comes from the east to the west. And if you guys think about that, every single time you look at a map, the east would be on the right-hand side and the west would be on the left-hand side. And that's exactly what the painting depicts. Is progress was on the east, and notice where it is all moving towards. It is all moving towards and pushing the Native Americans, again, to the west. The notion of the frontier would be developed by sequential waves of people in terms of configuration is always men, and it was deeply rooted in American thought at the time. She goes on. Then, of course, there is that beautiful, charming female, as Crofut, remember the man who commissioned the photograph, or the painting at the bottom, has described her, whose gown somehow remains attached to her body without Velcro or safety pins. On her head, she bears what Crofut called the Star of the Empire. And lest viewers still not understand her role in this vision of American destiny, he explains that in her right hand she carries a book. Common School is what it's referencing. The emblem of education, and remember the natives were not educated at this time, and the testimonial of our national enlightenment. While on the left hand she unfolds and stretches the slender wires of the telegraph that are to flash intelligence throughout the land. That was all Crofut's quote. The Indians flee from the progress, unable to adjust to the shifting tides of history. The painting hints at the past, lays out a fantastic version of an evolving present, and finally lays out a vision of the future. And what you're actually looking for, therefore, would be a timeline. The earliest timeline is on the left. The newest timeline is on the right. And from right until left, going back the other way, you see progress according to what the white man and what American thought at the time, or manifest destiny, was happening and what it was trying to do. So, again, I think that this this painting depicts a very accurate portrayal of the way that people were thinking back in the 1870s, and a little bit before and a little bit after. But again, about their right to the land, how it was divine in nature. It's darker on the left-hand side, which with those primitive people, and the sun is rising in the east, which is where all of the enlightened, smart thinking people were happening. There's a lot going on in this painting, and it's not just as simple as just there's a lady in the middle. It is a very detailed painting and shows a little bit about what Americans were thinking at the time.